First qualifier, top of the stretch has Maya Papaya. River Fantasy, Life of a Candle, Justin's Choice, and PH Hotshot. They are off in pacing. River Fantasy first off the gate to grab the early lead. Maya Papaya on the inside is away second up at the far outside. PH Hotshot is racing wide at third on the inside in four as they head by the opening eighth. Life of a Candle, and back trailing in five is Justin's Choice. Into the backstretch first time heading out of the opening quarter. River Fantasy out front will dictate the early pace, leading it by 2.5. PH Hotshot settles in second. Outside, Life of a Candle moving uncovered third at the rail in four. Maya Papaya. And at the back of the field as they continue on to the 3/8 is Justin's Choice. They continue into the turn. Racing on now to the upper turn on the outside. Life of a Candle trying to overtake River Fantasy as they check in at the 3/8. Life of a Candle on the outside has the lead. Inside River Fantasy second. There goes PH Hotshot off the rail in three. Then gapped out pacing in four as they travel in front of the grandstand. Maya Papaya. And Justin's Choice angles off the rail from the back as they move past the halfway point. Moving up, PH Hotshot now is the new leader as they race into the lower turn. Life of a Candle second. River Fantasy back out and moving third. Then Justin's Choice on the limb is pacing in four. Maya Papaya is now trailing. They were past the half in 1:01 and 2/5 seconds. They continue on to the backstretch on their way to the 3/4 mile mark. PH Hotshot out front opening up by 3. Then River Fantasy is back second on the outside. Justin's Choice now racing in 3. Life of a Candle dropping back in 4. And Maya Papaya is the trailer. They race on to the 7/8 now. PH Hotshot out there by 4 or 5 lengths. River Fantasy in pursuit second. 3/4 in 1:32. Back at the rail in 3. As they continue past the 7/8 and off the top turn is Justin's Choice. Maya Papaya is the fourth one, and Life of a Candle off the turn and down the stretch they come final time. And they're led home by PH Hotshot. PH Hotshot easily winning the qualifier. Back to River Fantasy, who will finish second, and Justin's Choice third. Second qualifier, Royal Putnam, Honeydew Jig Time, Skinny Sun, Selkirk Ben, and NS Acadian. They're off, and as they lead the gate, Royal Putnam at the rail away to grab the early lead. Honeydew Jig Time gets away second on the outside at third. That is Selkirk Ben. Then Skinny Sun sits in the 4 spot. The early trailer is NS Acadian. Single file heading by the opening eighth as they race into the backstretch. First time heading on to the opening quarter. Royal Putnam out front leads by 2. Honeydew Jig Time in pursuit second. Selkirk Ben takes a look at a 3. And Skinny Sun is pacing along in 4. And the 5th and trailing one is NS Acadian. They continue with positions unchanged, racing on to the 3/8. Royal Putnam opening up on the front is clear now by 4. As they race midway around the upper turn, Honeydew Jig Time still racing second, followed by Selkirk Ben. Then back at the rail in 3 as they continue off the turn, Skinny Sun and NS Acadian. The quarter was 32-1. They race on through the stretch and past the halfway point. No change up front. Royal Putnam continues with the lead as they arrive at the half. Honeydew Jig Time pacing along second. Then racing in 3 as they continue into the turn is Selkirk Ben, back to Skinny Sun and NS Acadian. Into the turn, the half, 1:03 and 3/5 seconds. They continue past the 5/8 now as they race into the backstretch. Royal Putnam is still the boss as they race on to 3/4. Honeydew Jig Time now cutting into the lead second. Back to Selkirk Ben in 3. Then Skinny Sun. And at the back, NS Acadian. There's still no change as they arrive at the 3/4 mile mark. Royal Putnam still shows the way. Honeydew Jig Time second, gapped out third, Selkirk Ben, then Skinny Sun and NS Acadian. Racing midway around the final turn. 1:35 was the 3/4. It's still Royal Putnam with Honeydew Jig Time back in 2. Then third is Selkirk Ben, followed by Skinny Sun and NS Acadian on through the stretch for the final time. Royal Putnam with Honeydew Jig Time second. It will be Royal Putnam to take the second qualifier. Honeydew Jig Time second, Selkirk Bend third. Race number 1 of the afternoon, top of the stretch, Sudden Paradise, Pictonian Sunshine, Royal Fit, Beer Drinking Blue, 2 times a lady, MD Casey's Comet, Nuka Motion, and Nan's Way. They're off and pacing. Pictonian Sunshine off the gate first to grab the early lead from the outside, 2 times a lady, down to the inside. As they race into the first turn is Royal Fit. They continue on by the opening eighth up front. That's Pictonian Sunshine out there by 3. On the inside, second is Royal Fit. Caught wide 2 times a lady, pacing in 3, finding room at the rail in 4 as they move on down the backstretch for the first time. That is Beer Drinking Blue. Outside and looking for a spot in 5. That's Nan's Way, followed 6th out the rail by Sudden Paradise. Back there in 7 is MD Casey's Comet. On the early trailer is Nuka Motion. They continue into the turn, moving on now to the 3/8. Pictonian Sunshine out front will set the early tempo. Royal Fit sits in the pocket. Then 2 times a lady is pacing along in 3. Then Beer Drinking Blue holds down the 4 spot. Up on the outside is Sudden Paradise moving uncovered. 30-2 was the initial quarter. They make their way past the halfway point. It's Pictonian Sunshine. Now opening up by 3 as they race into the lower turn. Second is Royal Fit. Third at the rail 2 times a lady. Outside pacing uncovered in 4 is Sudden Paradise. 5th and in at the rail is Beer Drinking Blue. Following cover outside in 6, MD Casey's Comet. Then back to Nan's Way. And Nuka Motion can see them all. They were past the half in 1:01 and 2 on down the backstretch final time. And Pictonian Sunshine has opened up a 6-7 length lead. Now on for second is Sudden Paradise. Driving up on the outside, MD Casey's Comet is now third. They continue on past the 3/4. Sudden Paradise out there by 7. Back second is Sudden Paradise. MD Casey's Charm racing along in 3. Then pacing in 4 as they continue on past the 7/8 is Nuka Motion. 1:32 the 3/4. It's Pictonian Sunshine leading the way off the top turn. MD Casey's Comet on the outside. Second inside. Sudden Paradise is third. Down the stretch they come for the final time. Sudden Paradise. MD Casey's Comet on the outside, but Sudden Paradise. That is Pictonian Sunshine winning at gate to wire fashion. MD Casey's Comet and Sudden Paradise. Race number 2, top of the stretch. Picture It, Race Me Volcano, Dia Harnica, Evening Star, Springtown Prelude, Wilfred, All-American Parade, and She Did It for Fun. They're off and pacing. Springtown Prelude first off the gate to grab the early lead. Moving out second, Race Me Volcano. As they race into that first turn, also driving up on the limb. That is All-American Parade. Down inside is Picture It. They race by the opening eighth into the backstretch first time. Heading on to the opening quarter, Springtown Prelude leads the way. On the inside, Picture It. Second, outside third is Race Me Volcano. Down at the rail in 4, that is Dia Harnica. Looking at it from 5 as they head past the opening panel. Evening Star back there in 6 for Wilfred. Followed 7th along the rail by She Did It for Fun. And backing off now to trail is All-American Parade. They continue single file, racing on to the 3H. 29-3 was the initial quarter. Springtown Prelude is dictating the pace. Getting the pocket ride is Picture It, Race Me Volcano. Next in line, third at the rail, Dia Harnica is pacing out of 4. And Evening Star looks at it from 5 as they continue off the turn. Starting up on the outside is She Did It for Fun in 6. Back to Wilfred in 7, and trailing is All-American Parade. They continue into the lower turn. Heading on now to the 5/8. Springtown Prelude continues on the front end. Picture It is content in the pocket now. Up first over is Race Me Volcano third. The half in 1:01 Then on the inside is Evening Star. With nowhere to go, pacing in 4. Outside covered up is Diarnica in 5. 6 to the inside for Wilford. Outside she did it for fun, 7. And still at the back is All-American Parade. They continue on past the 3/4 mile mark. Springtown Prelude is still on a 1-length lead. Race Me Volcano braving it first over. Picture It is locked up in the pocket 3rd. Second over, Diarnica is racing in 4. Evening Star 5th at the rail. Outside now moving in 6 is Wilford, 1:33 and 1, the 3/4 and 1/8 left to come. It's still Springtown Prelude. Outside Race Me Volcano. Diarnica coming 3 wide. Far outside is Wilford. Off the turn and down the stretch they come. It's Springtown Prelude. Diarnica now taking over as they drive down the stretch. Wilford and Evening Star. Diarnica up to win it. Finishing second is Evening Star. It's close for 3rd. Third race, top of the stretch, Kilkerran Annan. She steps lightly. Angelina Girl, Remember Kenzie, Riverly Ella, Dusty Lane Sly, and Slick Flow. They're off and pacing. Kilkerran Annan at the rail away looking to grab the early lead. She steps lightly, and from the outside is Riverly Ella 3 wide. Racing on to the opening 8th. Riverly Ella on the outside, trying to overtake Kilkerran Annan. Dropping in to take a seat, she steps lightly in the pocket 3rd. Followed away in 4 by Angelina Girl. Then on the inside, racing in 5, Remember Kenzie. They continue on down the backstretch. Backing off on the outside in 6, Dusty Lane Sly. And at the back of the field is Slick Flow. They make their way past the opening quarter. Out front, it's Riverly Ella on a 1-length lead. Kilkerran Annan is sitting in the garden spot. Followed at the rail by She Steps Lightly 3rd. Then Angelina Girl has 4. Now moving up on the outside in 5. As they continue off the turn is Slick Flow. 30 seconds was the quarter. They move off the turn and into the stretch now for the first time. As they approach the halfway point, Riverly Ella continues on the front end. In the pocket is Kilkerran Annan. Now to the outside in 3. That She Steps Lightly. Followed at the rail in 4 by Angelina Girl. 5th on the outside now with cover is Slick Flow. Then at the rail in 6 is Remember Kenzie. And trailing is Dusty Lane Sly into the turn, onto the 5/8, the half, 1:01 and 2/5 seconds. It's still Riverly Ella in control. Working uncovered on the outside is She Steps Lightly. In the pocket is Kilkerran Annan. Then Angelina Girl is still at the rail in 4. 5th inside is Remember Kenzie. Then back to Slick Flow and Dusty Lane Sly. They arrive at 3/4 on the outside. She Steps Lightly now sticking ahead in front. Trying to battle back is Riverly Ella at the rail 2nd. 3rd on the inside is Kilkerran Annan. Then looking at it from 4. And a gap to the cover on the outside as they continue on past the 7/8 now is Angelina Girl, 1:33 and 3/4. She steps lightly on the outside, leads them off the top turn. Riverly Ella 2nd. Here comes Kilkerran Annan. Now angling 3 wide. Down the stretch they come. Final time. She steps lightly. Kilkerran Annan. And closing up on the far outside. Remember Kenzie, but it's She Steps Lightly up to win it. Kilkerran Annan 2nd. It's tight for the show spot. Gate is moving for the 4th. Race number 4, MG Batador, Sure Enough, RM Petite Prince, Emily J. Down, Tools Force, Woodmere Real Drop, Mac Mirabelle, and Captain Hook. They are off, and as they lead the gate, MG Batador has gone off stride. Driving out is RM Petite Prince, looking for the early lead. On the outside, Woodmere Rail Drop is away 2nd. And finding room at the rail is Tools Force in 3. Caught outside in 4. That's Mac Mirabelle, who will now find a seat at the rail. Into the backstretch, heading on to the opening quarter. Up on the outside and looking for the lead. That is Woodmere Real Drop on the inside, and pacing 2nd is RM Petite Prince. Next in line, Tools Force third. Then Mac Mirabelle takes a look in 4. Gapped out racing in 5 is Emily J. Down. Sure enough has 6. Back there racing in 7 is MG Batador. And at the back of the field in the early going is Captain Hook. 29 seconds was the opening quarter. They continue to battle up front for the lead on the outside. That's Woodmere Real Drop with the lead, but not the rail. That's controlled by RM Petite Prince. Then racing in the pocket is Tools Force in 3. Mac Mirabella tied up 4th. Still gapped out. Emily J. Down in 5. 6th and looking to the outside. That's sure enough. Back in 7 is MG Batador. And Captain Hook can see them all as they enter the lower turn. Onto the backstretch now. They head for the final time. And RM Petite Prince is now the leader. Outside and going the tough opening half was Woodmere Real Drop still racing second. In the pocket, Tools Force third. Mac Mirabelle to the outside in 4. Then 5th and coming 3 wide as they continue down the backstretch. For the final time is Emily J. Down. They approach 3/4. RM Petite Prince with the lead. Emily J. Down on the 3 wide path is moving on now to take over the lead. That's Emily J. Down taking over. RM Petite Prince second. Woodmere Real Drop is racing third. 3 wide, Mac Mirabelle far outside in 4. Wide is sure enough. 132 was the 3/4 off the top turn. It's Emily J. Down clear by 5. Mac Mirabelle second, sure enough, third off the turn. And down the stretch they come to the payoff. And they're led by Emily J. Down. Outside, sure enough, Mac Mirabelle on the inside. It's all Emily J. Down here in the 4th race. Finishing second, looks like Mac Mirabelle, then sure enough third. Fifth race, top of the stretch, Windermere JJ, Pictonian Pete, Galamo, meter leader. Sammy Starr, NS Downey, Ultimate Faith, and Putnam's Dough Girl. They're off and pacing. Windermere JJ at the rail, away to grab the early lead, followed out by Pictonian Pete second. On the outside, NS Downey is pacing in 3. Inside racing 4th is Galamo, outside into 5. That's Ultimate Faith. In at the rail in 6 for meter leader. Sammy Starr is away in 7. And trailing as they move into the backstretch, Putnam's Dough Girl. They continue on to the opening quarter. And S. Downey on the outside. Driving up now looking to take over. Windermere JJ will yield and sit in the pocket second. Followed at the rail by Pictonian Pete third. Then Galamo holds down the 4 spot. Meter leader takes a look at a 5. And Ultimate Faith is looking at it from 6. Back there and racing in 7. And stepping to the outside is Sammy Starr. And trailing Putnam's Dough Girl. 29 and 4 was the quarter. They continue off the turn and race into the stretch. And up to reclaim the lead now. Windermere JJ as they move off the turn. And pace on through the stretch now as they approach the half. Out first over is Pictonian Pete. In at the rail is NS Downey, now third. Outside, Galamo is moving in 4. 5th and moving on the outside, Sammy Spirit. Then looking at it from 6th on the inside as they dip into the lower turn is meter leader. They continue on to the 5/8. Windermere JJ shows the way. Pictonian Pete on the outside. In at the rail is NS Downey third. Galamo racing 4th. 5th and locked up at the rail is meter leader. Out third over in 6 is Sammy Starr. Into the backstretch. Final time 1 minute 3/5 was the half. It's still Windermere JJ in control. Pictonian Pete on the outside. NS Downey at the rail third. Galamo now sent 3 wide 4th. On the extreme outside, 4 wide is Putnam's Dough Girl. They continue on now to the 7/8, and Windermere JJ is the one to catch. On the outside is Pictonian Pete on the inside. NS Downey now up to reclaim second, less than an 8th to come. It's Windermere JJ, NS Downey on the inside, Pictonian Pete racing third. Down the stretch they come for the final time, led home by Windermere JJ. Then NS Downey, down inside is meter leader in the passing lane. Windermere JJ winning it. Meter leader up the passing lane to finish second. NS Downey third. Race number 6 has Lady McCardle, Lady Gigi, Dr. Decimeter, Major Venue, Greyland Bliss, Island Seastorm, RL Rocco, and Salisbury Quick. They're off and pacing. Lady McCardle first off the gate to grab the lead. Taking a tuck is Lady Gigi in the pocket second as they race into that first turn. Up on the name Island Seastorm as they continue on by the opening eighth into the backstretch. Time 1 as they continue on to the opening quarter. Lady McCardle with the lead. Outside RL Rocco, Lady Gigi in the pocket, followed out by Dr. Decimeter in 4. Now finding room at the rail in 5 is Salisbury Quick. Then back there in 6 now is Island Seastorm. 7th as they move on past the opening quarter is Major Venue. And Greyland Bliss, the early trailer, heading now to the 3/8, led by Lady McCardle. The lead is 3 parts of a length outside, going the long trip. And a park second is RL Rocco in at the rail. That's Lady Gigi pacing along in 3. Next in line, Dr. Decimeter has 4. Island Seastorm now starting up on the outside from 5. Salisbury Quick back there in 6. Major Venue and Greyland Bliss are the trailers. 29 4 the quarter. They make their way past the halfway marker. Lady McCardle parking out RL Rocco as they race into the lower turn. Followed in the pocket by Lady Gigi third. Now with cover outside is Island Seastorm pacing in 4. 5th inside as they race into the lower turn. That's Dr. Decimeter. Third over Salisbury Quick from 6th. Then Major Venue and Greyland Bliss. The half in a minute and 1/5 second. On to the backside, final time, Lady McCardle still fighting for the front with RL Rocco as they move down the backstretch. RL Rocco on the outside at the rail. Lady McCardle out in the 3-wide path now and driving up now to challenge Lady McCardle. That is Salisbury Quick as they continue on to the 7/8. Salisbury Quick on the outside at the rail is Lady McCardle. RL Rocco still there third. Inside Lady Gigi needs room in 4. 1:31 1 was the 3/4. Salisbury Quick on the outside. Lady McCardle at the rail. RL Rocco still hanging around third. Inside awaiting the passing lane is Lady Gigi fourth. On down the stretch they come. It's Lady McCardle. Salisbury Quick on the outside. Lady Gigi in the passing lane. Lady McCardle, Salisbury Quick. Lady McCardle and Salisbury Quick. Those two in a win photo. Show spot to Lady Gigi. Race number 7 of the afternoon has Extreme Measure, Electric Sun, Asterix Duraso, Dark and Lace, Rebels Fantasy, Frisky Putnam, Jack Peach, and Man with the Big Cigar. They're off and pacing. Extreme Measure at the rail, a way to grab the early lead, followed out by Electric Sun second, caught wide, Rebels Fantasy third. Into the first turn and getting away in the 4 spot, that's Asterix Duraso. Followed 5th by the opening 8th by Dark and Lace. Back there in 6. That's Frisky Putnam. The 7th one away was Jack Peach and Man with the Big Cigar, 8th and trailing. Into the backstretch, they head on to the opening quarter. Out front and leading the way, that's Extreme Measure by a length and a half on the inside. Electric Sun will get the golden trip second. Then Rebels Fantasy pacing along the rail in 3. Followed in 4 by Asterix Duraso. Looking at it from 5 as they continue on to the 3/8. That's Dark and Lace. Then Frisky Putnam stepping to the outside in 6. Back there in 7 is Jack Peach. And Man with the Big Cigar continues to trail. 30-1 was the opening quarter. They make their way into the stretch now, approaching the half. Extreme Measure yet to be challenged. Now the first challenger on the outside, Asterix Duraso. Now drawing up alongside as they race into the lower turn. Asterix Duraso up to battle Extreme Measure for the lead. Followed by Electric Sun in the pocket at 3rd. Inside and now caught in Rebels Fantasy 4th. Then 5th. Then moving up on the outside is Frisky Putnam. Outside with cover is Dark and Lace pacing in 6. Back in 7 is Jack Peach. Man with the Big Cigar trailing the half in 1:02. On through the backstretch. Final time on the outside. Asterix Duraso trying to fight past Extreme Measure as they check in at the 3/4 on the outside. Electric Sun is pacing 3rd. Down inside. Rebels Fantasy has 4. 5th on the outside for Frisky Putnam. They continue on now to the 7/8. Asterix Duraso is the leader. Electric Sun up alongside now. Second. 3rd is Extreme Measure. 1:32 was the 3/4. Off the turn and down the stretch they come. Electric Sun on the outside now takes over, trying to fight back. Asterix Duraso second. 3rd is Extreme Measure, but it's Electric Sun on the outside. Electric Sun will prevail. Second, Asterix Duraso, and 3rd, Extreme Measure. is Extreme Measure. 132 was the 3/4. Off the turn and down the stretch they come. Electric Sun on the outside. Now takes over, trying to fight back. Asterix Duraso second. Third is Extreme Measure, but it's Electric Sun on the outside. Electric Sun will prevail. Second, Asterix Duraso, and third, Extreme Measure. Now back the 7th race winner, number 2, Electric Sun. 4-year-old bay-gutted son of Electric Stena. The Francine Pellerin, trained by Toby McDonald, driven to victory by Gilberto. Electric Sun in 202 flat. They're off and pacing. Extreme Measure at the rail, away to grab the early lead, followed out by Electric Sun second, caught wide, Rebels Fantasy third. In at the first turn and getting away in the 4th spot, that's Asterix Duraso. Followed fifth by the opening 8th by Dark and Lace, back there in 6th. That's Frisky Putnam. The 7th one away was Jack Peace, and Man with the Big Cigar, 8th and trailing. Into the backstretch, they head on to the opening quarter. Out front, and leading the way, that's Extreme Measure by a length and a half. On the inside, Electric Sun will get the golden trip second. Then Rebels Fantasy pacing along the rail in 3, followed in 4 by Asterix Duraso. Looking at it from 5 as they continue on to the 3/8. That's Dark and Lace. Then Frisky Putnam stepping to the outside in 6. Back there in 7 is Jack Peace, and Man with the Big Cigar continues to trail. 30-1 was the opening quarter. They make their way into the stretch now, approaching the half. Extreme Measure yet to be challenged. Now the first challenger on the outside, Asterix Duraso. Now drawing up alongside as they race into the lower turn. Asterix Duraso up to battle Extreme Measure for the lead. Followed by Electric Sun in the pocket at 3rd. Inside and now caught in Rebels Fantasy 4th. Then 5th. Then moving up on the outside is Frisky Putnam. Outside with cover is Dark and Lace, pacing in 6. Back in 7 is Jack Peace, Man with the Big Cigar, trailing the half in 102. On to the backstretch, final time on the outside, Asterix Duraso trying to fight past Extreme Measure as they check in at the 3/4 on the outside. Electric Sun is pacing 3rd. Down inside, Rebels Fantasy has 4. 5th on the outside for Frisky Putnam. They continue on now to the 7/8. Asterix Duraso is the leader. Electric Sun up alongside now. Second. Third is Extreme Measure. 132 was the 3/4. Off the turn and down the stretch they come. Electric Sun on the outside now takes over, trying to fight back. Asterix Duraso second. Third is Extreme Measure, but it's Electric Sun on the outside. Electric Sun will prevail. Second, Asterix Duraso, and third, Extreme Measure. Race 7 is official. 1 Extreme Measure 3rd, 2 Electric Sun the winner. 3 Asterix Duraso was 2nd, 4 Dark and Lace 8, 5 Rebels Fantasy 4th, 6 Frisky Putnam 6, 7 Jack Peach 5th, 8 Man with the Big Cigar was 7th. 30 and 1 the quarter, half 102. 3/4 in 132, the mile 202 flat. Top down, your card should read 312-84657. 231 try, $25.10. The $1 quinola, $8.15. Eighth race coming up. First division of the Donnie and George Turner Memorial. 7 starters, no program changes. Post time in 7 minutes. Entries are now on the track for the 8th race of the afternoon. It's the first of 2 divisions of the Donnie and George Turner Memorial for a purse of $17,165. One is Boxcar Johnny, bred by Ken McNeil of Sydney, owned and trained by Russell Newman of North Sydney. Todd Trench will drive. Danny Romo drives the 2 Little Quick for owner Brian Burgess of Dartmouth, was bred by Bob Haynes and trained by Danny Romo. 3 Elm Grove Joker by Bob Gordon, Claire McDonald, and Donna Rector, bred by Tara Hill Stud. Claire McDonald trains and drives. 4 Putnam's Force, bred by Sean Putnam, owned and trained by Ross Toole. Ryan Ellis will drive. 5 is Scootin' for Success, bred by Joe Connors, owned by Walter Simmons of Summerside. Wade Surrey, the trainer. Kenny Arsenault at the lines. 6 Island Redemption by Alfred Berrio and Michael Clinton of St. John, bred by Dr. Bob Webster. Gilles Berrio is the trainer driver. In 7 Unstoppable Speed, owned by Sterling and Kelsey Buchanan, Mitchell and Jamie Lynn Tierney, bred by Gary Lowther and Ron Peters. Mitchell Tierney trains. Corey McPherson will drive. That's the field for the first division of the Donnie and George Turner Memorial. Post time in less than 4 minutes. Less than 3 minutes. Now less than 2 minutes. Last call, 1 minute. It's post time for the 8th race. Entries are moving in behind the gate. Race 8 of the afternoon, the first division of the Donnie and George Turner Memorial for a purse of $17,165. Boxcar Johnny, Little Quick, Elm Grove Joker, Putnam's Force, Scootin' for Success, Island Redemption, and Unstoppable Speed. They're off and pacing quick off the wings. Island Redemption now sprinting out looking for the early lead. Down at the rail is Boxcar Johnny as they race into the first turn. Boxcar Johnny the outside is number 6, Island Redemption. Also out there wide, 3 wide in that first turn is Unstoppable Speed. Down on the inside is Elm Grove Joker. Now up into the pocket. They move on to the opening quarter. Boxcar Johnny shows the way. Outside second. That is Island Redemption at the rail and pacing in 3 is Elm Grove Joker. Finding room at the rail from 4 is Unstoppable Speed. Then back in 5, that's Little Quick. Followed 6th in the early going by Putnam's Force. And back trailing is Scootin' for Success. The inquiry sign posted as they make their way past the 3/8 and off the top turn. It's Boxcar Johnny dictating the pace. Outside and getting the parking ticket is Island Redemption second. Down inside racing third is Elm Grove Joker. Out second over now for Little Quick in 4. 5th at the rail is Unstoppable Speed. 6th on the outside for Putnam's Force. And to the outside in 7 goes Scootin' for Success. They race into the lower turn. turn. And on to the 5/8. The quarter was in 28 and 3. The half in 59 and 1. They continue on to the backstretch. Boxcar Johnny being pressured on the outside by the Park Road Island Redemption as they straighten out to the backstretch for the final time. Caught in the pocket is Elm Grove Joker. Pacing third on the outside is Little Quick. Sent 3 wide now is Putnam's Force into 5. They continue past 3/4. It's Boxcar Johnny now leading it by a length and a half. On the inside, Elm Grove Joker up into 2. Out there 3 wide is Putnam's Force in a 3. Backing off and tiring is on a Redemption 4th. An 8th to come. 129 and 4 3/4. Off the turn with Boxcar Johnny leading the way. Outside now comes Elm Grove Joker. Down the stretch they come. Boxcar Johnny, Elm Grove Joker down the center of the track has taken over. Elm Grove Joker wins the first division of the Donnie and George Turner Memorial, finishing second. Boxcar Johnny, Little Quick third. Result of the inquiry, the judges have deemed there was no racing rules violations. They are off and pacing, quick off the wings. Island Redemption now sprinting out looking for the early lead. Down at the rail is Boxcar Johnny as they race into the first turn. Boxcar Johnny the outside is number 6, Island Redemption. Also out there wide, 3 wide in that first turn is Unstoppable Speed. Down on the inside is Elm Grove Joker. Now up into the pocket. They move on to the opening quarter. Boxcar Johnny shows the way. Outside second. That is Island Redemption at the rail and pacing in 3 is Elm Grove Joker. Finding room at the rail from 4 is Unstoppable Speed. Then back in 5, that's Little Quick. Followed 6th in the early going by Putnam's Force. And back trailing is Scootin' for Success. The inquiry sign posted as they make their way past the 3/8 and off the top turn. It's Boxcar Johnny dictating the pace outside and getting the parking ticket is Island Redemption second. Down inside racing third is Elm Grove Joker out second over now for Little Quick in 4. 5th at the rail is Unstoppable Speed. 6th on the outside for Putnam's Force. And to the outside in 7 goes Scootin' for Success. They race into the lower turn and on to the 5/8. The quarter was in 28 and 3. The half in 59 and 1. They continue on to the backstretch. Boxcar Johnny being pressured on the outside by the Park Road Island Redemption as they straighten out to the backstretch for the final time. Caught in the pocket is Elm Grove Joker. Pacing third on the outside is Little Quick. Sent 3 wide now is Putnam's Force into 5. They continue past 3/4. It's Boxcar Johnny now leading it by a length and a half. On the inside, Elm Grove Joker up into 2. Out there 3 wide is Putnam's Force in a 3. Backing off and tiring is on a Redemption 4th. An 8th to come. 129 and 4 3/4. Off the turn with Boxcar Johnny leading the way. Outside now comes Elm Grove Joker. Down the stretch they come. Boxcar Johnny, Elm Grove Joker down the center of the track has taken over. Elm Grove Joker wins the first division of the Donnie and George Turner Memorial, finishing second. Boxcar Johnny, Little Quick. Here's how the race number 9 of the afternoon, top of the stretch, has Fernhill Tempest, J.K. Down, Antosh Sealster, Secret Fantasy, Harem Queen, Don Brayanco, Magic Ombre, and Meadowvale Ingle. They're off and pacing with Fernhill Tempest away at the rail to grab the early lead for the outside. Don Bray Echo leaves alertly. Crossing over, looking to grab a seat is Antosh Sealster in 3. Then back pacing in 4, that's Secret Fantasy. Unhurried in 5 as they continue on to the opening quarter is Harem Queen. Back pacing in 6 is Magic Ombre. Followed 7th as they race on through the backstretch by Meadowvale Ingle. And back and trailing the field, that is J.K. Down. They make their way past the opening quarter. Out front, Don Bray Echo is leading the way, a length and a quarter. In the pocket, Fernhill Tempest racing second, followed by Antosh Sealster in 3. Now looking to close up that gap in 4 is Secret Fantasy. Back to Harem Queen racing in 5. Magic Ombre has 6. Back to Meadowvale Ingle in 7. And J.K. Down is the trailer. They were by the quarter in a snappy 28 1/5 second. They move on past the halfway point. Don Bray Echo out there leading it now by 2. Fernhill Tempest second. Out first over now comes Antosh Sealster third, followed by Secret Fantasy in 4. Harem Queen still there in 5. Outside, Meadowvale Ingle is pacing from 6, back in 7. is Magic Ombre, and J.K. down lags behind. 58-1 was the half. They're on the way to 3/4. It's still Don Brayeco with the lead now, just by 3/4 of a length. And Toss Sealster outside is uncovered second, followed by Secret Fantasy. Getting a second over toe is now stepping at 3 wide third. Fourth and into contention comes Meadowvale Ingle. They head now to the 7/8 out 3 wide. Secret Fantasy and Toss Sealster in the center. Down at the rail is Don Brayeco. Now driving up into contention. Fourth is Magic Ombre. 3 wide. Meadowvale Ingle in 5. They head past the 7/8. 1:30 3, the 3/4. It's Secret Fantasy in the 3 wide path with the lead. And Tosh Sealster is second as they make the final turn. Outside is Secret Fantasy, Magic Ombre, and Tosh Sealster. Down the stretch they come. Secret Fantasy, Magic Ombre on the outside. Secret Fantasy and Magic Ombre. Those two in a win photo. And Tosh Sealster third. Race number 10 has New York Lotto, Race on Star, Au revoir Balboa, Crescentel Arrow, Fluid Motion, Just Feels Right, and $1 Million Dancer. They are off and pacing. New York Lotto's away quickly, looking to grab the early lead on the outside. Crescentel Arrow down on the inside is Race on Star. And up on the far outside, $1 Million Dancer leaving alertly. Into the first turn, they race to the opening gate. New York Lotto, $1 Million Dancer outside second. Then Race on Star is sitting in the pocket third, followed by Au revoir Balboa from 4. Getting away pacing in 5 as they head out of the opening quarter. That is Fluid Motion. Then sixth and caught on the outside. That is Crescentel Arrow. And trailing Just Feels Right. They continue into the turn, racing on over to the 3/8. $1 Million Dancer out front is dictating the pace. New York Lotto sits in the pocket. Now out first over comes Race on Star in 3, followed by Au revoir Balboa on the limb in 4. Inside fifth is Fluid Motion. Back there in 6 as they continue off the top turn. And Race on through the stretch is Crescentel Arrow. And still at the back of the field is Just Feels Right. They move on past the halfway point. $1 Million Dancer shows the way. Outside, Race on Star will brave it first over. Au revoir Balboa is getting the second over toe third to the inside and getting the trip in the pocket. As they continue on to the backstretch is New York Lotto. They were past the half in a minute flat. Led into the backstretch for the final time by $1 Million Dancer. Race on Star on the outside second. Au revoir Balboa following cover third. New York Lotto in the pocket is racing in 4. Then Fluid Motion has 5. They continue on past the 3/4. Race on Star on the outside. $1 Million Dancer at the rail. On the outside, and still with cover, is Au revoir Balboa, well-placed third. They continue on past the 7/8 now. Race on Star is forging to the top, but $1 Million Dancer is battling back on the inside. Out there, 3 wide now comes Au revoir Balboa. 1:30 the 3/4. They straighten out for the stretch drive. $1 Million Dancer outside, and closing in is Au revoir Balboa. Au revoir Balboa getting up to win it. Race on Star second. And third, $1 Million Dancer. Race number 11, the second division of the Donnie and George Turner Memorial for $17,165 has Fit to Been Tied. All bet out of shape, Mr. Solming, Dr. Alexander B., Ultimate Yankee, Ari's Miss Jen, and Elm Grove Elvis. They're off and pacing away quickly. Dr. Alexander B. on the inside, all bent out of shape, and Mr. Solming. Those three out vying for the early lead as they race into that first turn. Mr. Solming emerging with the early lead. Dr. Alexander B. on the outside, second at the rail. All bent out of shape is sitting in the pocket third. Then getting away in the 4 spot as they move on through the back stretches. Ultimate Yankee back there racing in a 5 in the early going is Fit to Been Tied. Then looking at it from 6, Ari's Miss Jen. then, and the early trailer is Elm Grove Elvis. They continue into the turn, racing on over to the 3/8, and Mr. Solming out front leads the way by a neck. Parked on the outside is Dr. Alexander B. Getting the pocket ride is all bent out of shape in 3 as they continue off the top turn and race into the stretch now for the first time. 28-3 was the opening quarter. They race in front of the grandstand with Mr. Solming continuing to chart the path. Outside, going the long trip, Dr. Alexander B. a park second. Third at the rail is all bent out of shape. Out second over now is Ultimate Yankee racing in 4. Down on the inside, Fit to Been Tied is a buried 5th. Outside, Elm Grove Elvis is moving 3rd over in 6. And treading is Ari's Miss Jen onto the backstretch, the half in 58 seconds flat. It's Mr. Solming now leading it by a length and a half. Dr. Alexander B. still second. Inside, all bent out of shape 3rd. Ultimate Yankee out there 3 wide is driving up now to try to reel in Mr. Solming as they race on to the 7/8. It's Mr. Solming by 1. Ultimate Yankee in pursuit second. All bent out of shape, a gapped out 3rd. Outside in 4, Dr. Alexander B. an 8th left to come. 3/4 in 1:28. It's Mr. Solming with the lead, half a length. Ultimate Yankee on the outside. Off the turn and down the stretch they come. It's Mr. Solming trying to fight off Ultimate Yankee. Mr. Solming and Ultimate Yankee. Mr. Solming wins the second division of the Donnie and George Turner Memorial, fighting off Ultimate Yankee, and Fit to Been Tied is race number 12 as Majestic Reigns B, Rumble Cheeks, Lucky Acquisition, Bacardi Artie, Westover Tom, and St. Lads Dagwood. They are off and pacing. Lucky Acquisition away quickly looking for the lead. Bacardi Artie driving out second to the far outside. St. Lads Dagwood wide 3rd. Then Majestic Reigns B in at the rail, gets away sitting in 4. Rumble Cheeks the 5th away, and treading the field is Westover Tom. Into the backstretch, first time as they race on to the opening quarter. Up to grab the lead. That is Bacardi Artie leading it by a length and a quarter. Lucky Acquisition is in the garden spot, followed by St. Lads Dagwood 3rd. Then Majestic Reigns B takes a look at a 4, campaigning the rail in 5 is Rumble Cheeks, and back treading in 6, Westover Tom. They continue single file, heading on to the 3/8. And up front, Bacardi Artie continues to lead it by a length as they race on past the 3/8 and off the top turn. In the pocket, Lucky Acquisition. St. Lads Dagwood will step out first over in 3. They round the turn and race on through the stretch now as they approach the half. And on the outside, St. Lads Dagwood quickly brushing up and drives on to take over the lead. Bacardi Artie is now back in the pocket, second, 3rd at the rail. Lucky Acquisition out first over is Rumble Cheeks in 4. 5th inside is Majestic Reigns B, and trailing Westover Tom onto the backstretch for the final time. And it's St. Lads Dagwood out there by 2.5 on Bacardi Artie. Gapped out 3rd, Lucky Acquisition. Westover Tom is coming 3 wide into 4. They race on past the 3/4 mile mark. St. Lads Dagwood now just by 1. A closer second, Bacardi Artie. Westover Tom continues to advance. On the outside is now racing 3rd. Lucky Acquisition has 4. They race on to the 7/8. Westover Tom now up to engage St. Lads Dagwood, who only leads by half a length now with less than an 1/8 to come. Off the turn and down the stretch, St. Lads Dagwood. West River Tom on the outside. Off the turn and down the stretch they come. St. Lads Dagwood. West River Tom on the outside. West River Tom and St. Lads Dagwood at the line. West River Tom up to win it. St. Lads Dagwood second, Bacardi Artie 3rd. Race 13, Woodmere, Ellie May, Anthony Soprano. Paxkey, leaders first, Waterside Cheer, ST Cami, and Indicator. They're off and pacing, away quickly, leaders first, looking for the lead. Waterside Cheer, and on the far outside, that is Indicator. into the first turn. They race on by the opening eighth on their way into the backstretch first time. And out front showing the way, that is Leaders First. Waterside Cheer away second. Indicator will find room at the rail in 3. Then next in line, racing in 4 as they move through the backstretch for time 1 is Anthony Soprano. Back there pacing in 5 is Woodmere Ellie May. The 6th one is Paxki. And at the back of the field, that is ST Kemi. They race in single file fashion, approaching the 3/8. 29-1 was the quarter. Up front, it's Leaders First, leading Waterside Cheer by a length. Indicator now stepping out first over in 3. Anthony Soprano is pacing along in 4. Off the turn, racing in 5 is Woodmere Ellie May. They continue on past the halfway point, and it's Leaders First continuing to show the way, with Waterside Cheer getting the pocket ride. Up on the outside is Anthony Soprano racing 3rd. Then next in line is Indicator in 4. 5th is Woodmere Ellie May. Then back in 6th. And moving on the outside is ST Kemi. And back trailing now is Paxki. They race on to the backstretch for the final time. The half in a minute and 3/5 seconds. They move on to the 3/4. And out front showing the way, Leaders First. Up quickly on the outside is Anthony Soprano to challenge 2nd. Waterside Cheer is 3rd. Then moving up into 4 is Woodmere Ellie May. 5th. Then moving on the outside, ST Kemi. Indicator continues to back off in 6. And Paxki. They race on over to the 7/8. And it's Leaders First still there, leading it by a length and a half. Anthony Soprano in pursuit is 2nd. Waterside Cheer racing 3rd. 1:30-3 was the 3/4 off the turn. And down the stretch they come. And it's Leaders First, and Leaders First will take the finale. 2nd is Anthony Soprano. Waterside Cheer 3rd.